Okay, and next is the 2016 James G. King Award, which is an industry recognition award. And this award was created in 2012, and it was named in honor of Jim King, a longtime member and board member of both the Alpaca Owners and Breeders Association and Alpaca Registry Incorporated. He passed away unexpectedly on April 5th, 2012, and each year when this award is given, the story of Jim's life and his dedication to the alpaca industry is told. Jim was born August 5th, 1935 in San Francisco, and he graduated from Phillips Exeter Academy, Yale University, and the Harvard Business School. At Yale, he was an All-American lacrosse player, and he later played for many seasons at the Boston Lacrosse Club. Jim and his family lived in Wellesley, Massachusetts before moving to New London in 1992. He spent most of his career in the Boston area as a financial analyst and portfolio manager, and worked many years with several different companies, the latest being New London Trust and Charter Trust. In 1992, he and his wife Sue established Skyview Alpacas, and working the farm allowed him to explore one of his passions, which was a love of animals. He spent a great deal of his time helping to grow the fledgling alpaca industry. He was involved in regional and national alpaca organizations, serving on the board of directors of both AOBA and ARI. In retirement, he was able to embrace new activities as well as to become more active in many different areas. His love of singing led to his joining the North Country Chordsmen, a barbershop chorus, and his love of sports began when he played soccer and lacrosse in prep school and college, and then coached his sons through many years of soccer. He also played tennis, paddle tennis, and was active in sailing. He was an active member of Rotary, the Boys Club, and the Lake Sunapee Yacht Club. He was also a longtime camper at AMC's 3 Mile Islands Camp on Lake Winnipesaukee. At the time of his passing, I got that right this time, Steve. At the time of his passing, Jim was serving the alpaca industry as the treasurer of ARI, and he was a strong advocate and for the industry, the organizations and its members, and he had a goal of having every organization he was involved with maintain the highest level of professionalism and service while continuing to invest in the future of the industry. So this award is awarded by the AOA Board of Directors to a person or persons who have given of themselves exceptionally and consistently towards the betterment of the alpaca industry. And this year's recipient of the James G. King Alpaca Industry Award is Dr. Patrick Long, DVM. Pat's dedication involvement in, and service to the industry are long-standing, and he truly exemplifies everything that this award is about. Pat graduated from Kansas State University with his DVM degree in 1976. After 5 years in the U.S. Army, he began his practice in Oregon, where he has been working with llamas and alpacas since the early 80s. He has spoken at numerous regional, national, and international conferences on alpacas and participated in numerous importation screenings for ARI in the mid-90s. He has served as a board member for the Alpaca Research Foundation since its inception, and also as a board member for the Morris Animal Foundation, where he has lobbied for camelid research grants. He has authored several chapters and textbooks for veterinarians on camelid medicine, many articles for Alpacas magazine, and he is the co-author of the Llama and Alpaca Neonatal Care book that I think we all value as the go-to guide for birthing information. Yep, see a lot of nodding heads there. Dr. Long has been a member of the Government and Industry Relations Committee since May 2009. That's where I first started working with him, where he has actively contributed to a variety of papers for AOA members. He's drafted e-blasts on such topics as disaster preparedness, conferences for veterinarians that have presentations on alpacas and llamas, and other herd health and regulatory issues. You may not realize it, but he represents AOA at the United States Animal Health Association annual meetings, and he now co-chairs the Committee on Infectious Diseases of Cattle, Bison, and Camelids. He is a recipient of the American Association of Small Ruminant Practitioners Practitioner of the Year Award, and he has mentored several veterinary students who are interested in caring for our animals. So with all that Pat has done for AOBA, ARI, and AOA, coupled with his lifelong dedication to alpaca health and the alpaca industry, he is most deserving of this award. So please join me in congratulating Dr. Patrick Long as the recipient of the 2016 James G. King Industry Recognition Award.
Well, I don't have quite as many notes as our last speaker, but I do want to say a few things. First, I'm quite humbled and really very honored to receive this award. I did know Mr. King, and so that makes it even more special to me. As Bonnie has talked about, I've been around the industry for a while, and actually went through my old notes, and I have the notes here from the 1996 AOBA conference. Now, that wasn't the first conference that I went to, but this was the big one because we outgrew Estes Park and actually moved to Denver, Colorado in 1996. And I was, spoke at some of the very early meetings. I missed the first one or two, but back in those days, and the numbers are interesting because there were about 200 members that belonged to AOBA. And if we had 100 of those people at Estes Park, that was a big meeting. And so it's just fun to see how the industry is growing, and now there are 10,000 alpaca owners. That's really amazing to see what's happened over the years. You know, when I think back, there are a lot of people that I think of over the years. At those early meetings, there were people like Ken Safley, who started Northwest Alpacas. There were people like Steve and Roseanne Knobloch, who are Kansas early alpaca industry folks. Ralph Huber from Washington State. A lot of people that could be standing here instead of me. Linda Livengood, sort of my mentor. Rich and Agnes Wilt from Minnesota. A lot of those folks were very early on in the industry. And on the ARI side, there was Margaret Brewster from Canada, Mr. Switzer, Phil Switzer from Colorado. A lot of folks that could be here instead of me. Eric Hoffman from California. A lot of veterinarians. LaRue Johnson, Murray Fowler. A lot of those folks go way back. Brad Smith from Oregon State, Norm Evans. Many of you still know Norm and does a lot of things. A lot of folks have played a part in this industry over the years. I always kind of tell folks I feel like I'm sort of a Forrest Gump type of person. I don't know if any of you saw that movie. That's probably my all-time favorite movie. Forrest Gump, things just happened to him. He just happened to be in the right place. And, you know, my story, when I was in high school, my goal was I was going to be a farmer in Kansas. That was my goal. My mom said, you're going to college. And you always kind of listen to your mom. And so I thought, well, what could I do? I thought, well, I like animals and I like to be outside. Maybe I should go into veterinary medicine. So that's, you know, my career choice, getting into veterinary medicine. And then back in 1982, when I started to practice in Oregon, a lady walked in one day and said, Tony Landis was her name, said, I've got some llamas. Would you like to work on them? And I said, well, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I should do that. That led into, for the last 30 plus years, spending more than half my professional time working with llamas and alpacas. 1984, I saw my first alpacas, Ken Safley at Northwest Alpacas. So, you know, that went on for a while, and then a few years after that, Hans Berman from Canada called, and speaker had not shown up one day, or had canceled sort of last minute, and he needed a speaker and wanted to know if I'd speak at his meeting. And I thought, well, you know, that sounds like fun. Maybe that's something I should do. And that certainly led to traveling all over the world, Australia, Ireland, Germany, speaking about llamas and alpacas, and quite interesting. So sometimes life happens, you don't really plan things, but kind of if you are open to things and don't say no, things happen. One day they called and said, ARI called and said, we got these screening jobs, so we'd like somebody to go to South America and look at animals. We'll pay you pretty well, send you down there, because a lot of animals were coming in and they wanted to make sure they had good foundation stock coming in. That's probably led to 30 or 40 trips to South America, working with the British Alpaca Society, the Australian Alpaca Association, German Registry. So things just sort of have happened to me like that. ARF was the same way. ARI decided that they needed to spend some money on research and founded the Alpaca Research Foundation and asked if I'd be part of that. And so again, a lot of things in the alpaca industry have just happened to me. It hasn't been things I've necessarily planned on, but they've been quite rewarding. GERCOM, same way. You know, that's been really rewarding. Representing the alpaca industry at the United States Animal Association has really taught me a lot. So life sometimes presents you with lots of crossroads, and you know, even after I was getting ready to get out of the Army, I thought, well, I'll go back to Kansas and be a mixed animal practitioner. But met my wife, Sue, who's here, which I really want to thank all of her patience with me, missed vacations and kids' activities that I've missed at various meetings, so thank you very much for your support over all these years. And you know, kids, all these things happen, and so now I've ended up in Oregon working with alpacas and llamas for all these number of years. And again, I guess I'll finish by saying, you know, another line from a favorite movie of mine. Probably my second favorite movie was The Wizard of Oz. And I think as Dorothy told Toto, you know, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, Toto. And that's sort of where I'm at. Thank you very much.